My name is Robin Peterson. Folks around here call my dad Sarge because he used to be in the military. A few years ago, we lived on an army base. One day, my dad just picked us up and moved us to a little town called Weston. Things have been great here with my friends, James and John. Oh, and of course I can't forget Grandma. Man, she is awesome and makes the best cookies ever. You know, it kind of seems that I've forgotten a lot of things that happened when I first came here to Weston. That is until the day I was cleaning out my closet and I found my old journal. And this is what I read. It was a stormy day and the rain was pouring down. It was cool outside and wasn't expected to get much warmer, according to the news on the radio that Dad was listening to. I was still lying on my air mattress. I hadn't gotten my real bed set up yet. Dad and I was still working on arranging the furniture. We weren't to the bedrooms yet, and Dad was still sleeping on an air mattress too. As I recall, we didn't have a refrigerator yet, because I can remember rummaging through a cooler to find something to eat for breakfast. The half-gallon of milk in the cooler was still good, so I picked it up and drank it. It's funny, though. I still like to drink straight from the container. Well, I thought to myself, let's see what happens today. As I was putting these words into my journal that my therapist gave to me, my dad walked into my room.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Dad.
So how'd you sleep?
On an air mattress.
Ha! Good one. Listen up. My boss asked me to come down to the shop today because it's closed, so that I could do my half-day orientation with no one around. You be okay for a couple hours by yourself? If you need anything, you can come on down to the shop and get me.
Don't you know your way around a garage? Besides, this one's really small compared to the one back on base.
Yes, it is. And thanks for noticing. Every garage is different. I'm going to have to learn this one just like I had to learn the last one. Now, you got your phone?
Yes, sir.
Good. I gotta go. Love you.
I put my journal down and walked to the window where the rain had lightened a little, but not enough to go outside on an early spring Sunday in Wisconsin. I could see him from the window, and I watched him walk down the sidewalk towards his new workplace. I felt so alone. Suddenly, there was a loud crack of thunder and a flash of light. I jumped back, startled, and then I remembered, ah, shoot! I forgot to tell Dad that I needed money for the bread yesterday. As I wrestled with my actions, the thought occurred to me. It was an old loaf of bread, and it was on sale anyways. It'll be fine. They'll never miss it. My real struggle, though, was the thought of what would happen if my dad ever found out. I finally convinced myself no one saw me. Oh, I know where to get some money at. It came to me that Dad kept a coin jar. You know, the jar where he would empty his pockets and collect loose change? He would always tell me.
If you ever need a little money, help yourself to the coin jar.
So I did. After some time of trying to calm my nerves by playing games on my phone, I heard a knock at the door. I went to the front door, but no one was there. Strange, I thought maybe it was in my head, but I was sure I heard a knock. Just as I was about to walk away, I heard it again. I went to the front door and still no one was there. Puzzled, I was about to let some words out of my mouth that I would never say in front of my dad, when I realized the knocking was coming from the back door. When I opened the back door, there stood two boys standing in drizzling rain. They needed someone to take pity on them, so I did, and I let them step inside out of the rain and into the breezeway.
Hi, I'm James. This is my best friend, John. I live right next door to you on that side. John lives right behind you. His backyard touches your backyard.
We wanted to welcome you to the neighborhood.
I looked them over, and John began to shake a little from being wet. I thanked them for welcoming me to the neighborhood and invited them into the house. Wait here, in the kitchen. I went into my dad's room and got a couple of towels out of his duffel bag. I took them to the boys. They drawed off with a few comments of how cold it was outside and a thanks for the towels. Then they started asking questions.
Where are you from?
How old are you?
What does your dad do?
Whoa, easy, guys. My dad used to be full-time military in the Army. He got out of the Army, and now he works at the garage down the street.
Oh, so he's the new guy.
I thought the questions might turn to my mom soon, and I couldn't handle that. I got really nervous, so I went with the first thing that popped into my head. You guys shouldn't be here.
I'm sorry?
But you invited us.
I mean, you shouldn't be in the house when my dad isn't home. You need to leave now. I must have really caught them off guard, because James and John looked at each other and headed out the way they came in. I wish they would have never come in the first place. I went back to my room, and about an hour later, Dad made it home and asked me how my day was going. 2 boys from the neighborhood came over. They were wet from the rain, so I let them use 2 of your towels.
Well, that was mighty neighborly of you. Was one of them James?
Yes.
Cool. That is James Hamilton. His mom and dad own the Hamilton Bakery. I hear James works there sometimes.
Well, this was news to me. I mean, I didn't see him at the bakery yesterday, and he certainly seemed like he'd never seen me before, so it stood to reason that my secret was safe. So, what about him?
Oh, I saw him when we were moving in the other day. Seems like a handsome young man.
Ew.
So, you don't think he's the marrying kind?
No way. I remember my dad laughing hard. And I also remember thinking that it wasn't very funny, and that I bet Mom would not have laughed either. The next day when I got up, it was already sunny and a lot warmer than the day before. Not a cloud in sight. As I stepped out of the house, I saw James and John walking from John's backyard into James's yard, then out into the front yard and onto the driveway. They started down the sidewalk towards the Hamilton Bakery and never stopped talking the entire way. I don't know why, but I followed them at a distance, ducking behind bushes and hiding behind trees. I secretly followed them to the Hamilton's Bakery. I saw them talking to James's mom, the lady I had talked to 2 days ago, and I watched as she handed James a $10 bill. James and John walked out of the bakery, took a left, and ended up going past a library, a community center, an old school, and an old football field. They crossed a street, they made another left, and then they turned across the road over to a gas station and mini-mart. I decided that I was thirsty, and this time I had brought all of Dad's change I could carry in my pockets. I walked into the mini-mart and went straight to where the pop coolers were. I studied the selection, but nothing really struck my fancy. That's when I saw the sports drinks. I really liked the blue raspberry flavored ones. I had forgotten all about the 2 boys until I rounded the corner and accidentally ran into them. They apologized for not seeing me. I told them no problem. But what happened next surprised even me. I asked if I could walk home with them. I think I was tired of being lonely and hiding behind trees and bushes. I was really glad when they quickly answered yes. We paid for our stuff and walked out. As we started back for home, the boys started asking their questions again. I was really annoyed by them, so I responded with silly answers. They took notice and stopped talking. Now it was my turn. So I turned to James and asked, So, your parents own the bakery, right?
Yeah?
Do you work at the bakery too?
Mostly just the weekends.
Did you end up working last Saturday?
Yes, I did. Why do you ask?
I just wanted to know how your weekend went.
Seriously? Why do you want to know? Or should I ask, what do you want to know?
Hey, I'll see you back at the house.
Okay.
So, did you end up seeing me at the bakery?
Yes, and you want to know if I saw you take the loaf of bread off the counter. Yes, I did.
Well, then why haven't you said anything yet?
Because I already took care of it. I paid for the bread myself.
I couldn't say anything. I just stared at my shoes. I couldn't even look up. James ended up breaking the silence first.
Hey, do you want to come back to my house for pizza?
Really? Yeah, sure.
Cool. Let's go this way. I'll show you a shortcut home.
At the same time, unknown to me, my dad had just bumped into Mrs. Hamilton on his lunch break at the grocery store. She was just leaving with her groceries when...
Mr. Peterson, how are you?
I'm a little greasy, but it's part of the job. I'd appreciate it if you'd call me Sarge, 'cause that's what my friends call me.
Okay. Are you making the transition okay? Finances okay?
Mrs. Hamilton, you're fishing for something. What is it that you want to know?
Are you in need of some food or staples or money?
Well, I haven't had a chance to get a refrigerator yet, but I got a nice severance check when I left the Army. We're doing okay. I don't understand why you're asking.
Well, your daughter came into the bakery on Saturday.
Yes, I sent her.
Well, she took a loaf of bread from off of our counter.
She took it? You mean without paying for it?
Well, I'm afraid so.
I am so embarrassed and sorry. First, how much do I owe you for the loaf of bread?
Nothing. Someone already paid it for her.
Who paid for it?
Well, my son did. He's the one who saw it. I caught him putting money in the cash drawer. I asked why, and he told me the story. So I wrongfully have assumed that maybe things were hard for you and your daughter.
Well, that's a lot of character for such a young man.
Well, he's just doing what he's seen his father do.
You obviously must be proud of both of them.
I am.
So, Mrs. Hamilton, how would you like for me to handle it?
She's your daughter. You do what you think is best. And please, don't let this get in the way of you coming to our bakery. You and Robin are always welcomed there.
Thank you. That is so kind of you.
After a fun day of backyard play and video games, I got a text message from Dad that said time to come home. When I entered the back of the house, the screen door slammed behind me. I saw my dad in the kitchen making supper.
So, Rob, how was your day?
Honestly, way better than I was expecting it to be.
Good, good. By the way, you never told me how things went down at the bakery on Saturday.
As soon as those words left his mouth, I started to get sick to my stomach.